You might be wondering, Bilbsy, why are you making a video about Injustice 3? It's 2017, not 2021. The DLC for Injustice 2 isn't even out yet, or at least not all of it. Why would I take the time to make an Injustice 3 video? Well, I've thought about it a lot, and I'm not sure if I really want to call this a quote-unquote theory, a prediction, or more or less just what I would like to be in the game. This is how I think the story of Injustice 3 should be approached. Currently, a lot of fan-favorite characters aren't in the Injustice story. Characters like Starfire had to be DLC because they have no context of the story, because she's actually locked up in the Phantom Zone right now, along with the rest of the Titans, and that's where a lot of my ideas are going to come from. In between Injustice 1 and Injustice Gods Amongst Us, there has been a 5-year gap period. There's also been a 5-year gap period between the Injustice 1 comics and the Injustice 1 game. How about instead of there being a 5-year gap in between Injustice 2 and Injustice 3, instead we have a much longer gap, to the point where literally all of the main characters have aged out. I'm talking about Green Lantern no longer being there. I'm talking about Superman no longer being there. Batman certainly not, although I guess we could have almost a Batman Beyond situation going on. But instead, the only main hero from Injustice 2 that's there is Supergirl. And some big threat is approaching. I don't know exactly what that threat could be. It would be up to NetherRealm what they want the big bad to be in Injustice 3. But Supergirl would be put in this position where, let's say that Firestorm is still there and all the young characters like Blue Beetle, or if you decide you want to cut one of them, you could make it so that one of them died in the comics or something. For argument's sake, let's just say it's Blue Beetle. And it's just Blue Beetle and Supergirl, and they've been running things fine up until the point where this big bad approaches and they realize, damn, we're gonna have to do something about this. Supergirl's trying to recruit new people, and she finds a couple new people here and there from across the DC world, but it's still not enough to beat this big bad after multiple attempts of trying to take him down. Or, you know, it could always be a girl. And Blue Beetle mentions that he actually remembers Batman talking about the Titan and how they're stuck in the Phantom Zone. So Supergirl and her team make their way into the Phantom Zone, rescuing the Titans, but in their attempt to rescue the Titans, they accidentally free Superman. Immediately, Superman tries to fight because he's now on Earth and he doesn't want to be captured again. But in the middle of the fight, he sees Superboy, one of the Titans who are currently locked up in the Phantom Zone. And he hesitates because it's essentially his son. And that gives Supergirl enough time to take him down. After doing that, they lock Superman back up, and that could be your first example of a Premier skin. It'd be a way to rework Superman's kit. You have Superboy be the main male Kryptonian on the roster, and then you have Superman be a Premier skin for Superboy. After rescuing all the Titans, we now have a very awesome looking roster. You have the Tim Drake version of Robin, you've got Superboy, Wonder Girl, and Starfire. You could even use that as a way to bring back Raven. You could have the Titans take over the story from there, and then have one of them wonder about where Raven has been, and everyone mention that they haven't seen her, and then they go on some type of mission to find an artifact that she's locked in or something, where a spirit's trapped, or create a story around this better than what I can come up with on the spot, and then have Raven be introduced into the story, and now you've got a full-on Titan story versus the big bad, all these young heroes who aren't quite what the Justice League was, going up against the big bad, having to fill their shoes, not because they want to, but because they have to. This would be an awesome way to not only spice up the roster, but spice up the story of Injustice. One of the amazing things about Injustice 1 was how shocking the story was, and don't get me wrong, I love Injustice 2, and I even love all of the returning characters, but I think when we start getting into the higher numbers after Injustice 1, Injustice 2, and now going to be Injustice 3, we should probably start cycling out, or at least reworking some of those characters on the main roster. For people unfamiliar with the term reworking, I'm basically talking about changing their moveset. In Injustice 2, all of the returning characters have very similar movesets to their Injustice 1 counterparts, and this would be a fantastic way to shake it up, because you can still include those characters. For example, Wonder Girl can have a Wonder Woman Premier skin, Superboy can have a Superman Premier skin, Tim Drake probably couldn't have a Batman Premier skin, but he could probably have like a Robin or Nightwing one, and you could have like a Batman Beyond type character be a Premier skin for Batman, or vice versa. I would love for this type of story to end up playing out in Injustice 3, mainly because there are a lot of really cool young characters in the DC world that we don't get to see enough of in the Injustice series, and I love that they're including characters like Red Hood and Starfire in the DLC, and I hope that we get to see some more characters like that moving forward, but giving them a big focus in the story mode would be very awesome. One of the reasons I actually think NetherRealm is going to go in a direction, maybe not identical to what I just laid out because I was kind of oddly specific, but definitely including the Titans from the Phantom Zone, is because when we look at Injustice so far, what we've had Dick Grayson in the first as the main version of Nightwing. I know he wasn't the main version, the quote-unquote main version in the story, but when you went into character select, the first version of Nightwing was the Dick Grayson one. When you go to Injustice 2, we have the Damian Wayne version, so we've got Damian Wayne and Dick Grayson. For DLC, we got Red Hood, so now we have Damian Wayne, Dick Grayson, and Jason Todd, and the only person we're missing, other than like a few niche examples of other Robins, like for example the female Robin, which I believe was called Stephanie Brown. I could be completely wrong about that. I'm just gonna quickly Google that, make sure I'm not an idiot. I'm totally right, the character was called Stephanie Brown. We would have all of the Robins if we had Tim Drake in the next game. And this would be an amazing way to incorporate Tim Drake. Let me know what you guys think of my theory. I'm not even sure I really want to call it a theory at this point. It's just what I would really like to happen in Injustice 3. What would you like to happen in Injustice 3? I've actually had some really cool ideas come from you guys in the comment section, especially through my Q&A series. Somebody recommending a Blackest Night story, which I think would be incredible. A Flashpoint story. All of these amazing stories which could work out very, very well. If being put in the right hands. Anyway, guys, I'm still feeling a little bit sick and under the weather, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to upload tomorrow, but I will give it my absolute hardest. If I don't upload tomorrow, it's likely I won't upload the following day. I will try my absolute hardest, though. I do promise that. Thank you guys for watching the video. My name has been Bilbsy, and I'll see you in what should be tomorrow's video.
Holy mackerel.